Hello, everyone. Let's just get this music off. Here we go. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm just reading the chat. Peace and love, exactly what the world needs. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. And the world needs some love, and we need some healing here. Okay. Well, I could use a healing as well today. I've had a very busy day. I just finished two sessions. I'm still coming down from them to jump into this. So I been bringing some thoughts together. I've had some pretty interesting sessions lately from, 20-year-old people having regrets for what they've done to people who have been working on themselves for a very long time and getting frustrated that they're not moving fast enough, to others who just don't understand why they can't break patterns. And it's a human experience we're all going through, right? We're all healing, and the frustration of healing is frustrating. And I've been there, and I still into it. I'm on the other side of it, but still things bubble up. Things make me sad, things frustrate me, but I'm able to look at it from a different perspective. And I think that's what healing's all about. It's, looking at an experience. We're still on planet Earth. We're still going through contrast. So you want to be patient with yourself and compassionate with yourself as experiences come into your life, and you say, you know what, how can I learn from this? Or this person who's really bothering me at work and they get under my skin, why are they there? And you just almost have to look at it like, what a blessing they're in my life. What am I going to learn from them? And I get when people give you that message, it can be so annoying. You just want to tell them to be quiet. Or someone who's just said, oh, I fell deep into some dark depression and I let fear come over me. And then as they come out of the fear, they're like, how did I let that happen? And then they get mad at themselves that they fell back into fear. We are healing from thousands of years of this dark energy on the planet. And the fact that you're on a call like this, listening to a call, doing things to make yourself heal, give yourself a pat on the back. And once you know, and once you awaken and say, who am I? Why am I here? It opens up a lot of doors, but it opens up a lot of healing that needs to happen. So the biggest advice I can give anyone that's on their journey of healing and awakening is to take some alone time each day, at least 15 minutes, at least. If you become, a little more selfish like myself, you might want to take more than 15 minutes because you love that time. But take that time and really connect to you and start to feel that intuition, start to feel how your body's feeling, start to feel, what negative feelings you're having, or start to listen to the negative thoughts that are coming into your head. And we're in a new year, 2024. This is the second call of the new year. But to me, we're still in the new year. This is like when you're seeing people, you still say Happy New Year. So a lot of people have made New Year's resolutions. And I think it's still early for people to have completely given up on them. Usually I give it about 3 weeks. If you're trying to go against a pattern that you don't like, those can be tricky ones because the patterns are pretty deep within. So if you're someone who's trying to, let's say, change a pattern of thought, and it's okay, well, I'm going to be very positive going forward, and then what you might notice is, oh wow, I wasn't that positive today. And then you're going to get out of that excitement to think positive, and you're going to get in your old ways of negative thinking. Well, give yourself a break. You've probably done that most of your life. So how do you break something so quickly? It's practice. It's breaking old habits, making new habits. It's letting those deep subconscious thoughts heal. So patience, love, forgiveness, really all that for yourself. And I know it's hard to do that to yourself. It's easier to forgive someone else than yourself because, why did I do that? I should have been that way, or I did some stupid things in my life, or why aren't I here and I'm just here? I mean, how many feel that way? How many feel just stuck and why am I still here? Because I know I'm supposed to be so much more. Well, that's your heart pulling you to what you came to do as a contract, that mission. And a lot of us have a mission to hold the light, hold the space for others, bring happiness to humanity. And we can do that every day of our life, whether we're going to the grocery store or smiling in traffic or wherever you are, making a phone call to a friend that needs a phone call, sending a text to check up on someone. Sometimes I throw a text out there. This is funny. So I might throw a text out to you to say, "Hey, how you doing?" And the person will be like, I'm okay." Then the next few text messages like, why did you send me a text today? Did you send something's wrong? And I just like, no, actually, I felt you thriving and doing great, and I'm just checking in to see if I'm right. Oh, that's better. So because I'm connecting to someone doesn't mean it's a negative thing. And what I realize, that's a lot of the common feedback I get from people when I just check on them randomly. Are you checking in because something's wrong? No, absolutely not. I'm checking in because I felt your presence or I thought about you. So let's look at it from a positive perspective instead of a negative perspective. So sometimes now when I'm texting people, I'm like hesitant. Should I even say hello to people? Is it freaks them out? But just know if you're getting someone calling and say, "Hey, how you doing?" Think of the more positive aspect. Like, wow, the person reached out. I'm doing great. I enjoyed that reach out. It is a habit of thought that, oh my gosh, there must be something wrong. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. It's just those belief systems or those patterns of thoughts are really weaved into our subconscious. So I think I said in my last call, and if you learn something and that experience now comes up again, what do most people say? Oh man, I must have not learned that lesson. I must have done something wrong. And then it's so funny. No, don't think like that. Just say, wow, this experience is coming to me. I'm so lucky because now I get to practice what I already learned. I learned this before and I'm going to do a great job. So, I was just working with someone on breaking negative belief patterns. And it takes actually a long time. It's pretty exhausting. I think for me and the client, because we're going to the subconscious. So we had all these negative beliefs. And some negative beliefs are very disturbing. So we muscle test to see if someone has a negative belief. And some people will say, that, I'm ugly. And it comes up as true. I don't think I'm ugly. But why is that belief coming up that I'm ugly? Or I don't deserve love, or I'm unworthy. Oh, actually, I should pull up the list. I was reading some of these. A part of me wants to die. That's a big one, too. And people get really shocked when these subconscious thoughts come up that are there. And then there's this different level. There's this psychological reversal, meaning, say we've all list of all these negative beliefs that we want to release in a session. Before we can do that, we have to test, does this person have any psychological reversals that need to be corrected before we can move forward? And there's always at least one. Some people have 7, some people have 9. One of the biggest ones that come are, and people get shocked at this, that they have so much vengeance or so much anger towards a person, an event, that they would rather stay angry than heal. Now, I wonder if anyone's out there that's going through something that just can't release that, and they'd rather be angry than forgive someone because there's so much vengeance in there. They want justice, they want vengeance, and they're holding that anger. And I would rather do that than actually heal. And that's common psychological reversal. It's like a subconscious thought in the background. Another one is that I need to suffer because I'm paying off a debt for something I did. Now, that can come in from a current life, that can come in from a past life. But if you really sit quietly and say, is there anything I'm hanging on to because I feel like I'm paying off a debt and I don't deserve to heal? Or I'm really angry about something that I don't want to heal. So some people don't want to heal a negative belief because they feel they don't deserve to heal it, or it's not safe to heal it, or they don't give themselves permission to heal it. So there's lots of things that hide in the background that aren't presented, say, in our conscious mind, that we're aware of it. But these are just some things to think about. For those of you who are, working through your stuff and saying, why can't I get beyond this issue? Or why is my life so chaotic? I get this one a lot. And I would say I was one of those that had a chaotic life. I was working late, taking care of kids, getting little sleep, running. If there's not one fire, I'm putting out another fire. If it's not a work issue, it's a home issue, it's this. It is us that creates our reality. And if you're noticing that there are reoccurring things, or your life is in chaos, or you're worrying about your kids and their lives are in chaos and yours is because of that, or your work is frustrating and people at work are arguing with you, look at your life and look at the issues, or look at I wouldn't call them issues. Let's look at the challenges that are arising, because that's all this is. As we are learning, as we are growing, as we are healing, we are presented with what is in our subconscious, what's running in that background is presenting in our life. Now, I can say, wow, you know what? I'm feeling very calm lately. I'm feeling this, but yet I'm seeing something in my reality that I don't like. Well, that is a blessing from the universe saying, hey, Brenda, this is something you need to heal still. It's something that keeps coming up. You're seeing it. It's bothering you. It's triggering you. So what is it that needs to heal? And then I'll sit with myself. And I like to actually, and I've gone back to writing with pen and paper, because for one, if I'm talking to myself or working through something and I have this aha moment and I don't write it down, well, I forget what came up. So I do like to write things down as they come up, although I have the worst penmanship nowadays because I'm either typing or not writing, but I can still kind of make out what I'm writing. But some people will say, well, no, I want to type on a computer or use my phone. That's perfectly fine too. But when you are starting to sit quietly and really try to understand what is it in me that doesn't want to heal, or what is it in me that needs to heal, or what am I seeing in my reality that's triggering me, pissing me off, making me angry, making me want to cry, depressing me, write all those things down. Because what you're going to notice is you're going to start to have some aha moments saying, you know what, this is what I need to heal. And sometimes you're looking at the situation. Now you got to look deeper. What is it about this situation that it's stemming from? I mean, generally humanity, we all have a bottom line of unworthiness, undeserving, lack. I'm not good enough. These are just general things that kind of seems through, and it's really neat. But some people say, oh, but so and so is so successful, and why are they so successful? I go, what does success mean to you? And they'll kind of look at me, well, they have a nice car, they got the nice house. I said, do you know that person? Because I know them pretty well. Do you know them? No, but they look very successful. Well, if you really knew them and a lot of other people, there's a lot of different issues there that they're struggling with. So just because we're seeing someone who we think is successful, you haven't walked in their shoes. You don't know what they're going through. So we don't want to just label someone successful when inside they're falling apart. And that goes for our managers. A lot of managers out there, very good managers out there, that hold themselves together for their team. And they look like they got it all going together and they're put together. Yeah, they may have the good job. They're the manager, they're this, they're the VP. They go home and they have their issues. I have a lot of people, and I'm going to raise my hand. I have had my breakdowns on the other side as well. But sometimes they just need a safe place to break down and say, you know what, I don't have it together. I'm hurting inside, but I have to be the manager that supports my team. I have to be the spouse that holds my spouse up. I have to be that parent that is there for my children. I have the weight of the world. And those people are doing the best they can, but deep down they're struggling too. And there are some people that can hold it together for everyone else, because when you don't see them, they're falling apart behind the scenes, let's say, or they're having their private time at night to kind of work on themselves. So there's those type of people, because they have those jobs that they have to be that face, that put together face. And then there's the others that maybe don't. So you get that cranky person that comes to the office and gives all that negativity to everyone. Do they want to be that negative person? Probably not. Do they how not to be that negative person? No, they just don't know. Or that person you call up and all they're talking about is negativity or this and that. You're like, oh my gosh, they're so exhausting. Do they want to be that way? No, but they're separated from who they truly are. Fear has different faces, whether it is fear of lack, fear of financial, being financially stable, fear of being abandoned, fear of being liked, fear of having relations being close, fear of being vulnerable. There are so many things. I mean, if I ask people in the chat, write down all the things you're fearful from, we could have a very, very diverse list. And I remember just recently in a call, I said, I have no fear. And after I said that, well, what I was thinking, I guess when it came out, was I listened to these things afterwards, and I said, I have no fear? That's impossible. Thousands of years of fear, I have no fear. So I sat there and I contemplated, I have no fear. Oh yeah, I don't have fear of dark energy. I don't have fear if there was a creepy thing around. That does not scare me at all, because I know the light can do what it needs to do to dissolve it. But do I have a fear of not being liked? Well, maybe I don't have a fear of, comments on YouTube. I mean, I wouldn't do this if I really cared, because you're always going to get people who don't like you and then people who like you. So no, that doesn't bother me. But there's got to be some fear. So as I was, not that we want to have fear, I'm just trying to be realistic. There's got to be some type of fear. And sometimes it's those close relationships. Am I doing enough? Am I being a good enough mom? Am I, am I setting things up correctly? If I start a new venture, is it going to fail? That's fear. Fear of failure, right there. I just said it. Fear of not being good enough. Because I'm just like, wow. So yeah, we have fear in different ways. And someone put fear of everything. All right, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. And if you're fear of everything, we really want to bring you back to this core person that you are, this connected being of light. And it might just be a phase where you're feeling fear of everything. But fear is an illusion, but it is deeply woven within the psyche of humanity. It was placed there for good reason, to control us. Because you imagine we had no fear, we would be doing whatever we wanted, we wouldn't be listening, and then you're not really controlled. So what you want to do is, if you have a fear of everything, maybe make a list of all the things you're fearful of and say, okay, what can I release my fear of? Like, for instance, I'm going to give you a very superficial fear. I had a fear of spiders. Now, if anyone's fearful of spiders, you might say that's not superficial. But a spider, I used to be terrified of spiders, and probably because of something that happened when I was a child. Actually, I know many things happen with spiders. But I had to look at that fear rationally. Why am I scared of this thing? Yeah, it's ugly. But it's probably looking at me and saying I'm ugly. So I had decided I do not want to be scared of spiders anymore. So I put that as one of the fears I wanted to let go. And I let this go a long time ago. And I use tapping. So I just tapped on my own. And if you guys don't know what EFT is or tapping is, it's really neat because you can focus on something, a phobia, and when you're really focusing in it, your body's going to do that response, like that. I used to call it the scared spider dance. I just did this whole body freak out whenever I saw a spider, big or small. And whenever I was in that like freaked out mode, I would do the tapping because that energy's up, and I would just release. And as you're doing tapping, you're like, okay, the spider's freaking me out. I'm like going to have a heart attack here. You're yelling and screaming how much you don't like it. Well, over time, if you do that, something like that can be easily released from your system. So instead of writing, now I'm scared of everything, I'm not really scared of everything, and now I'm not scared of spiders. So you kind of want to chip away at your fears. Be kind to yourself and look at your fears. And how many people have fears of, oh, I worry about my children. That's my biggest fear. And, you know, I have children too. And there had to come a time where I had to work through that fear for my kids' future. Look where the world's headed. Look what's happening in the world. Are our kids going to be able to afford houses? Are they going to be able to find work? All that stuff runs through your mind, all those fears that were deeply rooted. But when you then come to this broader perspective and say, my children came here with their own experiences to have, their own learning lessons, their own contracts. They came here as a child of God who's being protected by their spiritual guidance team, their angels, by God. So who am I to add worry to my child's life? Who am I to add negativity to my child's life when they're here on their own, for their own experience? So yes, I can be someone they can come and talk to, and yes, I can give them my advice. Yes, I can do the best I can do, but in the end, they're here to experience life. So instead of adding worry to my children, I wake up every morning and say, my kids are happy, healthy, thriving, they have direction, and they get it, and they're protected. And I then send them with this bubble of, or this wave of light and love, and I don't worry about them. Now someone will say, well, how can you do that? You're their mom. Because that the 3D mom wants to freak out and make sure they're always okay. But then from a higher perspective, I can see the bigger picture. So you want to look at everything you're fearful of and take a broader perspective. Okay, the spider, yeah, it's ugly. But he's looking at me like I can squish it if I wanted to. I don't like to kill anything, but when I got it trapped in a cup and I'm going to bring it outside, I'm looking at it. It's very vulnerable. Like, I can throw it down a toilet and I can squish it. I can do whatever. And yeah, I don't like it, but does it like me? Not necessarily. So why am I scared? What is the fear of it? Yeah, there's probably a fear of something happened as a kid, or, fear of dogs, or because you were bitten, or fear of water because we almost drowned in the tub, or fear of that. There could be a past life drowning. So when you start to pick out your fears, see which ones you can resolve and do your best to resolve them by either talking through your fear, doing EFT, bringing up in a session like this, meditating. I'm going to meditate with the intention to let go of this fear. Now, some people have actually said they're scared to do energy work. They're scared to do to involve themselves in meditation. Some people, and actually, if you noticed, I'm starting to cut these calls too. There's going to be the replay, which is the whole call. And if you notice, I just started cutting the talking part because I've actually had emails of people saying they're scared of the energy part of it. It's too intense. They're scared to let themselves be vulnerable in a group. So they said, I want to listen to the talking part, but can you somehow cut it and just have that? And I thought, well, that's kind of an odd request. But I said, is it? It only takes me a few minutes to do that. And it's not really an odd request because it's coming up from different people. So why not just make their lives easier and just cut it and have two versions of it? It's not a big deal. So why would someone be scared of energy work? Why would someone be scared of meditation? But you're kind of like going into a state where you're not in control. So if you are, I'm guessing if you're watching this call and you're doing the healing part, you're not scared because you know that you are being protected by light, that we are working with beings of light. But let's say you're meditating on your own. You can always I always say but it's a big thing. You can always add in a special intention that as I meditate and as I get messages, may I only connect with true source or a divine light, 100% divine light. You can say whatever words work for you so you know that you are protected while you meditate. So if you were to get a really nice message, you don't have to worry about it because you know you're getting it from that love source, that infinite intelligence that loves you so much. And you do hear people having different experiences through different things, but that doesn't have to be your experience. So write down your fears. And for 2024, release as much fear as possible. Fear keeps us in separation. Fear keeps us hanging on to that old energy that we need to let go as we move into this new world. Think of your children and only see them happy and doing well. Think of your well-being, your body as being as healthy as possible. And if you're going through an illness, just know that you will get through it. It may take some time as things need to heal, but it will get there because this energy that we're going through, that we're moving into, is becoming stronger than ever before. Our immune system is only working at, say, about 30% right now. That's the general public. I won't say everybody's. That's the average. But it's going to kick it up. It's going to keep going higher and higher. So eventually, this beautiful immune system you have is not going to let any foreign objects come in. But you can also keep your light as strong as possible because as this white light's here in your field, no negativity is going to come in. I mean, maybe there might be some because we then lose our connection. When we're in present moment, we are the strongest. When we start to regret the past or worry about the future, we kind of get wobbly and things can come in and then negative thoughts can come in and make us feel crappy. We've all had this. We've all had the ups and downs, but I hope everyone on this call has at least had one time where they felt fabulous, inspired, and very excited. Because if you felt that, you thrive to get it back. And that's what we're working towards, getting that back more and more every day, becoming that magnificent being that you truly are. We're not making you any better when we do these calls. We're pulling away the resistance, the belief patterns, the negative interference that is dimming your light. We want that light to shine so bright. So you're holding it for yourself, you're holding it for humanity, and you're going to be that beacon of light for those who can't. And there's many people on this planet that don't get this. They're living in separation, they're in a very dark place. Let's send them some love today. Let's send them this energy. Let them open up their hearts. And I believe in 2024, I'm not sure what's going to happen. I'm not even going to speculate. But I believe a lot of hearts are going to open. And the key to get through this uncomfortable things that we're going through, this uncertainty, is to hold that love for yourself. Be kind. Be compassionate. Be forgiving. Be love. Be loved. It's simple, yet I get it. It's hard. But practice and practice and practice and never give up, because you never want to give up on you. We are headed into a beautiful new world. It is going to take a few generations, and that's for the safety of our minds, because we have bought into this 3D illusion. It's really hard to snap out of it. We need to get out of it slowly and safely. So heal at your own pace. But when you see that creepy fear coming in somehow, comes in many different forms, really be aware of it. Figure out where it's coming from and do your best to let it go. It's just an illusion. It is false. You are completely protected. You are completely loved. And I know I can say that 1,000 times until you start to play with it and go through it and really believe it. You're not going to take my word for it.